Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We could just settle in. We're going to get started. What a crowd, right? Like, what a crowd. Thank you all so much for being here. Really excited and inspired to see how many people have come out this morning for the release of the Young People First report done by the 119K Commission, which was commissioned by the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities. Let me just begin by saying, I guess, first off, I'm Joe DeLong, the Executive Director and CEO of CCM. And it became very clear from the start when the 119K Commission began this journey about 8 months ago that one of the most important, if not the most important thing that we could do was to hear from young people from all across the state of what their opportunities were, what their challenges were, creating a report that was really done in their voice. That was paramount, I think, to the commission's work. And so what we're going to start off with here today for this briefing is just that. You're going to hear from 5 young people that have engaged in this process with the commission over the last several months. You're going to hear from their authentic voice, and I think you're going to be as impressed as what we have been with all of these young people and what they have to offer, not only to the work of this commission, but to the future of the state of Connecticut. So we're going to start off with we're going to go in the chronological order as they have engaged with the commission. And back in March, at our very first public meeting in New Haven, the first young person to come to the podium and speak, who, by the way, didn't end it there, but then continued to follow the commission and offer written testimony and speak at other events, was Rania Das. And Rania is a high school student in New Haven, and I'm going to bring her to the podium. I think that you will find that she is very articulate, very motivated, very well-spoken, and I hope that you're as excited by her remarks as I am to hear them again today. So, Rania, you are up first.
Good morning. My name is Rania Das, and I have the honor of serving as a youth representative on the City of New Haven's Youth Commission. I'm deeply grateful to the CCM and the 119K Commission for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. It's a privilege to represent my peers and to shed light on the critical issue of youth disconnection. I've been fortunate to grow up in a loving, stable home where I feel safe and supported. But for many young people in my city, life is far more complex and uncertain. Not every teenager can sit on their porch or take a walk around their neighborhood without the fear of gun violence. Many don't have access to warm meals, clean clothes, or help with homework, things that we often take for granted. More importantly, many don't have a stable home or anyone to ask them how their day went, or offer a hug when things get tough, or provide the emotional support that they need. These are not luxuries. These are fundamental necessities for their well-being and development. Without this support, it becomes incredibly difficult for them to build the confidence and stability needed to become productive, thriving members of society. Although my circumstances are secure, I understand that the struggles that my peers face are not isolated. They ripple through our entire community. When young people struggle, it affects more than just their individual futures. It impacts the safety, well-being, and long-term prosperity of our community. These struggles can create an intergenerational cycle of poverty with no clear way out. This understanding drives my passion for standing up for my peers. I realize that the stability and support that I enjoy are privileges that many others do not have. And this disparity is what drives the deeper issues that we see in our schools and neighborhoods. Youth disconnection doesn't stem from individual hardships alone. It arises from broader problems in our communities. When young people are disconnected from their families, schools, and neighborhoods, they lose the sense of belonging and hope that is essential for success. This is why I believe we must invest in community centers and support networks that can foster emotionally resilient and stable youth. These are the foundations for ensuring that young people feel valued and supported. We often hear about schools failing children or parents not meeting expectations, but instead of pointing fingers, we need to ask deeper questions. What is happening in that child's home life? Why are they disengaged? Are they dealing with instability, poverty, or emotional neglect that is causing them to disconnect from their education and community? Do they have access to the support that they need? These are the questions that lead us to real solutions. To better understand these issues, I've spoken with community leaders who work closely with young people, their families, and the challenges that they face. The overwhelming response is clear. We need community-based interventions. That's why I've testified at 2 of the 119K Commission's meetings, the one in New Haven this past March and another in New London this past August, urging for these interventions. Schools alone cannot solve these complex problems. We need a community-wide approach that includes mentorship, mental health support, and safe spaces where young people can feel heard, understood, and valued. This help must be both abundant and accessible. Together, we can break the cycle of disconnection. Every young person deserves to grow up in an environment where they feel valued, supported, and empowered to reach their full potential. In conclusion, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to Mayor Justin Elicker, the Mayor of New Haven, and Judge Robin Wilson, a fellow commissioner of mine on the Youth Commission, for their dedicated service to our city and the New Haven Youth Commission. I also extend sincere thanks to the remarkable leaders in my community, including Alder Honda Smith, librarian Miss Diane Brown, and many others. Their tireless efforts have deepened my understanding of the challenges that we face, and their mentorship has empowered me to grow, learn, and advocate for meaningful solutions. I am truly, truly grateful for their support. Thank you once again for this opportunity to speak today. I remain committed to this important work, and I'm grateful to all of you who are working to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Rania. Moving from March to April, the commission held its first regional roundtable discussion with young people at the Waterbury PAL. And the person who was really our point of contact at the Waterbury PAL, who pulled it all together and made sure that everything went off smoothly and that her peers opened up to commissioners, was Erica Soares. And I think when we bring Erica to the podium, I want to say the one thing that I've learned about Erica is while she is dealing with navigating her own challenges as a young person today, she has also put all of the challenges of every other young person in the city of Waterbury on her shoulders as she tries to help others. It seems like every single day of her life. So I'm proud to bring to the podium Erica Soares.
Good morning, everyone. It's clear that we're all here today because we care deeply about the future of our youth and the systems that support them. My name is Erica Soares, and I'm honored to be here, not just as an advocate for change, but as someone who has lived through these challenges we're discussing. I want to share my story with you, not to gain sympathy, but to illustrate why it's so critical that we get this right. At a young age, I faced challenges most people don't experience in a lifetime. Homelessness, sexual assault, the incarceration of a parent, losing a parent, and growing up surrounded by drugs and gangs. But today, at the age of 24, I sit at the table with senior executives, decision makers, and leaders because I was fortunate enough to have people who believed in me. I am one of the lucky ones. I had coaches, mentors, family members, and programs like Gear Up that helped me see a future beyond the circumstances that could have swallowed me whole. Thanks to the resources I had, I went from struggling to get through high school to attending and graduating from college. Now I'm pursuing a master's degree in strategic communication and a 6-year certificate in public relations and promotions, all with the goal of giving back to my community. But here's today's reality. Many young people in our state don't have that same support. Too often, opportunity and success are based on luck, where you live, who you know, or what resources you happen to stumble upon. We can't leave opportunity up to chance. Every young person deserves access to people who genuinely care about them and programs that help them believe in their potential. Despite all the hardships I endured, I had multiple resources and role models who showed me I could succeed. But many youth can't even say they had one. That's unacceptable. For many young people, their concerns aren't just about going to school or hanging out with friends. It's about surviving. There are resources out there, but many youth don't know where to find them or how to access them. It's overwhelming to figure out on your own. And the systems we have in place don't make it easy. We allocate so much funding to incarceration while underfunding programs that could prevent youth from ending up in difficult situations in the first place. Many shelters are full, and reaching out for services often leads to a frustrating runaround, being put on hold or told you need an appointment. Even when you follow the steps, you're met with obstacles. It's frustrating, especially when you're already desperate for help. The system feels like a locked door with tape over it. After dealing with so much frustration, people give up because it feels pointless. I've even tested these services myself before referring someone, and it's disheartening to see how difficult it can be, especially for youth who lack a strong support system. This unspoken crisis, youth left to fend for themselves, is exactly what the 119K report highlights. It shows how many young people are disconnected from the resources meant to help them. We need to act now to fix a system that is not designed to help them succeed. This is why youth need to be part of the conversation. Too often, decisions are made for us and not with us. My lived experiences make it clear that youth need to be at the decision-making table, and we need more than just talk, we need action. We hear a lot of talk about No Child Left Behind, but it seems we're only focused on getting kids through school, and even there, we aren't doing a good job. It's not just about academic success. What about making sure they succeed in life? We need to think about access to trade schools, teaching life skills, and even changing high school start times to improve student focus and productivity. Real support addresses every aspect of a young person's life, not just their school grades, but their well-being, their mental health, and always, always with an eye on their future. At the Waterbury Police Activity League, our motto is today's youth, tomorrow's leaders. But if we want tomorrow's leaders to thrive, we need to act now. I stand before you today, not just because of what I've been through, but because of the people who believed in me, the people who saw promise in me, the people and programs that helped guide me and set me on the path to success. I want every young person in Connecticut to have those same opportunities, not by luck or chance, but because we built a system designed to support them and lead them to a successful future. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. You getting impressed yet? It's a fine group of young people here. In May, we had our second regional roundtable discussion with young people in Stamford, hosted by Domus. And this was the first time that we had an opportunity to really engage with older youth, many of which were already out of high school and really learning from the challenges that they faced and the struggles that they were enduring. And during this time, David Mazard openly shared his real-life truths and perspectives. And we were so appreciative of that we thought that you needed to hear from David as well. So, David Mazard.
Oh, a little nervous here. Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see a lot of wonderful faces here. So I'm a little nervous. Just bear with me. It's my first time. Okay, I'm going to start with this. My name is David Mazard, and on January 3rd, 2022, I was released from incarceration. I came home, and I had absolutely nothing. I was homeless, didn't have any important documents, IDs, nothing. The only resource I only knew in my community unfortunately, was the liquor store, and I made quick use of that. My mom signed me up for a program in Stanford called Invictus that helps young adults return into the community from incarceration. When I began Invictus, I wasn't really bought in. Although I was no longer incarcerated, I was still knee deep in with my struggle with addiction. That didn't stop Marilyn Andrews, the Invictus director, from trying to engage me. I never told Marilyn where I live, but she found me. Honestly, I told my girlfriend, I said, please don't let her know that I'm inside the bathroom hiding, because they kept trying to come to see if I was okay. But just to show that they care, I was hiding in the bathroom. Marilyn stood at the door and talked to me, even though I never came out. She said, David, I know you're there. You aren't in trouble. We just want to make sure you're okay. Despite Marilyn's best efforts, I just wasn't ready for what Invictus was offering me. My addiction continued. I was in and out of rehab, and my parole was finally revoked, and I returned to incarceration. When I came home after being incarcerated, I was more ready for the help that Domus offered. I attended the cognitive behavioral skill classes called TEB. I signed up for Domus Workforce Program, and I talked to the people in the program to let them help me out. I'm not perfect, but I have come so far from where I was from January 2022. Today, I have my own apartment, I have all my important documents, and I am a leader on the Domus Works crew, operating the utility vehicle and leading a crew of my peers. From my lived experience, my advice to people who want to reconnect disconnected youth to school and work is, for one, be persistent and consistent, because a lot of young people need a long time to make changes. I went from prison to rehab, and before making the decision to participate in what Domus had to offer, Domus never gave up on me and gave me the time to make the changes I need to make to get on path. 2, young people need the opportunity to participate freely in programs. I didn't need an appointment to talk to Tom, Mitch, Marilyn, or Josh. Someone was always available to talk to me. They were good to sit down and talk to and help guide me in my decisions. 3, provide transportation. Transportation is a huge obstacle for participating in programs because a lot of kids don't have the necessary transportation to get to and back. 4, help the whole family out. Domus helped my mom as well as me too. She too struggles with an addiction and is now participating in a year-long recovery program. Domus also supported my family when my dad passed away. 5, help young people get the stuff they need to survive. Domus helped me get my birth certificate, social security card, helped me get foods, clothes, transportation, and furniture to live and to start my day. And I would like to thank you for the community. I would like to thank the community to speak here today. And thank you for helping me reconnect disconnected young people. And I would also like to bring out Josh Brown to acknowledge. For the 4 years that I knew him, he helped me get on my path. He helped me a lot. And out of the 4 years that I knew Josh, he's always stayed loyal and helped me reconnect with a lot of things. And thank you for allowing me to be here, everyone.
Thank you, David. Yeah, that Josh Brown's a pretty good egg. We've learned that along the way here. So appreciate your remarks, David, and you sharing your story. As we moved into the summertime, several of the commissioners on the 119K Commission began hosting local forums in their communities. And one of those local forums was actually hosted by the commission chair, or one of the co-chairs, Mayor Eleanor Carbone out of Torrington. And it was there where we met Carlos. And the team came back particularly impressed with Carlos and really thought that there was a ton of value in what Carlos had to say because he was fairly new to Connecticut, only having lived here for about a year. And so we really found his perspectives from moving into the area from somewhere else to be very valuable within the commission's work. So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce to you, I'm sorry I didn't give you Carlos's last name, and I have it here. Carlos, I'm so used to saying Carlos. Carlos Noel. Carlos Noel, ladies and gentlemen.
Before I begin, I want to acknowledge how great of an opportunity this is. It's not often somebody like me or people like the youth behind me are given an opportunity to have a platform to speak on issues as serious as these. With that being said, I also do not think this should be as selective as it is. I think that more youth should have an opportunity to make changes in the community and communities around them. I think it is important that we highlight the opinions of the lives we are trying to impact. But that being said, I will begin. Today, I want to speak on three major issues: substance abuse, mental health, and lack of action. Um, Starting with substance abuse, it's no secret that it's a prevalent topic, not just with our youth, but as a society. Um, I believe that often the criminalization of possession of substances can harm the addicts more than it harms the true criminals providing the drugs. This can especially affect our youth, given that they're more susceptible. And this susceptibility can lead to addiction, and it's significantly harder for a child surrounded by drugs to kick an addiction when it's all they've ever known. Children who don't know any better, constantly seeing drug use, wouldn't think that that drug use is a negative. And I think it's really important to highlight the fact that the proper education is really necessary. Oftentimes, when we're learning about drugs, we learn about these intangible concepts, concepts that honestly mean nothing. Proper education that can really impact the youth would prevent a lot of this drug use, I feel. So I think a major change that needs to happen is within the education system. Health classes should focus on the impact of drugs. And that's kind of all I have to say on that. Regarding mental health, it has been a widespread consensus among many who have cared to look and try these professionals that school social workers aren't the go-to. They aren't very good at their intended purpose, and it's of no fault of them. I feel that schools need to further vet the social workers, especially with how critical they are to the students' mental health. And that mental health is the mental health of the future, you know? This country has a mental health crisis. We've seen this mental health crisis impact many, many schools across the country. And when we as a community are not doing our best to help these students with their mental health struggles, we're flying in the face of any such tragedies that occurred because of those mental health struggles. And finally, I want to speak of lack of action. Often it is stated that youth do not do much within the community, that they are lazy and don't care. I feel like this fundamentally misunderstands the true outlook. Often, these issues that the youth are not going out there and solving are issues that have been prevalent since they were born. They know nothing different. It wasn't a new concern that appeared and was obviously wrong. It is all they have ever known, and with no one making a change, it seems as if it is all they will ever know. Why fight a battle that seems so futile? A battle that existed before you did, with no support or no backing. It is not that children are fundamentally lazy or do not care about the community. It is that the community ignores their needs and then asks them to fix the issues that were in place when they got there. Furthermore, the social pressure to detach yourself from serious issues and topics must be addressed. Irony kills sincerity. And there is a significant social pressure to approach everything we do, every passion, every conversation, from an ironic point of view. Good things, positive actions cannot be ironic. Sincerity and passion must come from an unironic point of view. I cannot help the homeless man ironically. I cannot offer community relief ironically. Irony is a big, big reason why many youth don't take part in their community. Change is too sincere. Cynicism isn't. That concludes everything I want to say. But before I leave the stage, I would like to mention youth programs. Youth programs like this that are very important. Youth programs can inform, they can offer community relief, they can get kids engaged in their community. It addresses all three of these concerns in different ways. Youth programs are not by any means the end-all be-all, but they are an important vessel to solving each and every one of these concerns. And that is all.
Thank you, Carlos. So, as the commission was wrapping up its work in late August, it held its final regional forum in New London. But before going into that regional forum, the commissioner spent time with over 40 young people in New London who were just completing a summer youth employment program. And I can tell you that not only were their stories remarkably compelling, but there also was a sense of emptiness when we left and we heard how many young people had been denied access to that program and were on a waiting list due to funding limitations. So we saw the incredible work that had been done with those young people, but also felt the incredible loss of opportunity for those who were turned away. One of the young ladies who spoke up so well was Marissa Jones Hankey during that program. She impressed all of the commissioners that were in attendance. I will tell you that I know Marissa is nervous to speak today, but her voice is so valuable, and I assured her not to worry, that I was nervous too, and I already forgot Carlos's last name, so she should relax and know that the moderator, the MC here, already made a mistake. So excited to bring Marissa to the podium for you today.
Hi. Thank you. Hi, I had something written, but I don't know where it went, so I'm just gonna wing it. So I'm Marissa. I'm from New London, Connecticut, and so I'm just gonna jump right into it. I'm very fortunate to be at the place that I am right now. I go to a very well-regarded school with the help of scholarships and financial aid and everything like that. And I was able to get myself a job because in my home, everything's fine, but my mom has had 2 strokes. And because of that, the job that she had, she used to be a social worker. She's not able to be a social worker anymore because obviously 2 strokes is going to leave you with a little bit of an issue later on. And so I have a job, and that's amazing. But there are so many people that have worse things happening in their home life than what I have happening, and they don't even know that that's an option for them. And they're just there, and they don't know what to do. They don't have anywhere to go. Their schools aren't very much help. And so also another thing I want to talk about is I think I'm done actually. I'm really sorry. I completely forgot everything. I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Marissa. It's okay you forgot anything. We haven't forgotten you and your story. For certain, your contributions to this process have been absolutely invaluable. So thank you. To our friends in the media, that concludes our presentations. At this part of the press briefing, what I'm going to ask is we're going to leave here in a moment, set up next door, and members of the commission are going to walk through the report, its proposals, how it works. And take certainly any questions that you have for commissioners, any questions you have about the report, we'll take at the end of that presentation. But what I wanted to do was offer any of you the opportunity who wanted to ask questions specifically of these young people who came out here to be with us today, either individually or collectively as a group, if any of them wanted to take it. So do our friends in the media have any questions they would like to pose to these young folks? No, well, if we could give them one more big round of applause. Thank you. And you're welcome to join us next door. We'll get started probably within about 10 minutes or so over there on going through the report. And for those of you who are watching online, hang with us because that will be streamed as well. Thank you. Oh, yes.